What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world today. April 25th. Damn, April's literally almost over. Can you believe it? Y'all hear the phones going off? Somebody will be trolling me here in a minute, because they know I'm live because, that's what they do. Listen, man, I'm having kind of a bad day today. I ain't even gonna lie. I you know, I'm not having let me turn this down just a touch. I think I could turn this down just a touch. Hold on. Okay, there we go. So I think that's better, right? I'm still learning how to operate this thing. There we go. All right. Now, man, listen, I'm having a bad day, okay? I ain't even gonna lie. For one, for starters, okay, you guys know that I've been like ordering a slew of equipment, right? Because I've been leveling my game up and all that type of thing, okay? And one of the main thing now, I would say the main thing, okay, that I hold on, I want to turn this down some more because it's like really loud. Hold on, let me see. Let's try this again. I could do asthma with this thing. So good. I could chew pomegranate arrows and you could hear them pop in my mouth. No, I was doing that to y'all last night, just trolling y'all. But anyway, I think the sound's better. It's not as loud now. But okay, so let me tell you about what's been going on, right? So I I have been needing to update equipment for a minute, okay? Got a new laptop maybe 6, 7, 8 months ago, and it's been the worst laptop I've ever had in my life, okay? Not kidding you. I have complained about this laptop. I even took the time over the weekend, okay? Over the weekend, okay? To completely format the drive and reinstall Windows, okay? That's a lot of work. First of all, that is a lot of work. On top of that, I did a few live streams, right? And what really sucks is that most of the time when you get a new laptop, you hope the old one still works just in case. But of course, my old one doesn't work. So I'm stuck with this piece of shit, right? And I mean, it's bad. It looks pretty, but the performance is awful. So I've did everything possible. I've updated the BIOS. I've updated the firmware. I've updated every single driver on this thing. Okay. I think I've did 2 BIOS updates actually, and I'm still getting poor performance. And poor performance to me, if I can't open up more than 20 Chrome tabs, we have a problem. And it ain't just the Chrome tabs. I got to be able to have Outlook open, OneNote open, about 20 to 25 Chrome tabs, Illustrator from Adobe, Photoshop, Fresca sometimes. I mean, you get where I'm going with this, right? Microsoft Word has to be open, Excel, not and even including all the dev op type programs that I have to open up. Like I am an advanced user and I need an advanced machine and this is not working. So I got in this mode. I'm like, I talked to my manager and I'm like, look, man, this is not going to work. I can't deliver. I can't I can't be I can't be up here delivering technical updates, all right, to my customers and my laptop is flashing out on me or the sound isn't working or whatever. Like we got to do something about this, right? So my boss is like, "Yeah, man, do what you feel is right." So I said, "I'll tell you what I feel is right. I'm moving to an iPad. Screw this. I've been running Microsoft Windows since Microsoft Windows came out. All right. I'm going to an iPad. At this point, get me a keyboard. All right. I can get one of those keyboard folio monitor things. I can throw my iPad in there. My iPad battery juice is going to last all day. It's a beautiful thing. I don't need to run around with all these wires and stuff. Hold on, hold that thought. Okay, sorry about that. So it's like, yeah, I'm moving to an iPad, right? Screw this. No more, right? No more. So, I make my order, right? I do. I follow all the steps, right? But it wasn't even just my aunt. See, I had to make orders from two places, right? The first place will remain unnamed. But that's where I had to order, like, the keyboard folio thing for the iPad and all that because, of course, every company has a preferred provider, right? And, of course, I have a corporate credit card, and so my managers just, use that. No problem, right? Matter of fact, I still need to expense my Houston trip. Now that I'm thinking about it, I better get that shit done today. But it's like, it's supposed to be here today, okay? Now, let's be honest. I had a little fun over the weekend because on top of the fact that I was able to buy some new equipment, things that I needed, we're all working from home now. uh, Companies are giving away, it depends on what you do for the company, but I know my company gave all of us, a couple $100 for us to spend on hardware that we may need, whether it was microphones, whatever, mouse, keyboard, portable monitors. By the way, if you haven't checked out a portable monitor, you should. They're beautiful. They're great. First of all, you ain't got to plug them in. You can literally just plug it through USB into your laptop and boom, you've got two monitors just like that. Got one of those, right? So yeah, I'm making sure I'm prepped, okay? All this fun stuff. And then so everything I ordered from Amazon came just like Amazon said it would. All right. But I ordered everything from Amazon after the other place, right? I ordered everything. Like everything was ordered by Amazon second, but yet it got here first. Now, I'm a little disappointed that 3 things I ordered from Amazon aren't exactly what they portrayed themselves to be. So those things will be returned back. But that's okay because Amazon has a pretty decent return policy. But then this morning comes and I hear the knock on the door. Oh, FedEx guy is here. Great. Finally. Finally. Hey, Mimi, what's up, TRG? No, it ain't too bad. I'll turn it into something good, right? What's up, Gloria? So I'm just like, good. FedEx is here. They got my folio. They got my keyboard for my iPad because I've had just about enough of this fucking laptop. Okay, do you hear me? I don't even want to be on the preview build anymore. I don't want to be on dog food anymore, right? Take me off. Why is evaluation edition in the corner of the window of my laptop? It's like all these things are going on, right? And I get 2 boxes. And I know good and damn well I'm supposed to have like 5 or 6. And they're pretty fucking light too. So I'm like, okay, I don't think I'm about to like what's about to happen here. So let me get my scissors. Let me get my scissors out. What's up, queen? So I get my scissors out and I start politely opening up the boxes gently, right? The first box, right? It's real light. Now look, and I see, oh, well, look at that. It's the mouse that I ordered. Isn't that sweet? Isn't that nice? They were able to get my mouse out to me. I could have went to Walmart and got this shit. But okay, benefit of the doubt. Let's hope and pray that in this second box, even though I should have 5 of them, let's hope and pray that my iPad folio keyboard's going to be in that bitch because if it's not, that means that it's going to be a very torturous day for me because I cannot tell you how horrible operating this laptop is. I'm talking about I can type, it doesn't type what I tell it to type, okay? It's a slew of stuff going on, all right? So I open up the second box, all gentle and nice, right? And what happens? What do I see? I see an AirTag loop. And I'm like, you motherfucker. Are you serious? So I'm grateful for the AirTag loop because I bought it to protect my assets because it's a wonderful little cool little thing, especially if you're into iPads, which it seems like I'm really getting into them, but it allows you to actually track your stuff. Okay. But the thing is, it's just the loop. The tag is not there. So we've still got 3 missing boxes. So I call Zon. I call him up, right? Call him up. I say, yo, like, I'm looking at my order here and it says 3 of the things that I've ordered have not shipped yet. Like, you also say I owe you a total. And then, like, where's my ship, man? You said it was going to be here by today, by 10:30. I paid for priority shipping at that. I paid for priority shipping. Okay. Or my company did. American Express did. Right. And well, she's like, well, I just need you to email our customer service number. Just, email our, email us. I'm like, no, I ain't emailing anybody. I'm on the phone with you. I called you. Do you know how difficult it was for me to pick up the phone and dial your number? And I was on another conference call when I did it. And like, no, I'm not trying to hear that. So then I start just getting kind of upset. All right. And then I'm like, okay, like, when is my stuff gonna ship, ma'am? When is it gonna ship, ma'am? Well, we hope that it will ship today. It might ship today. It might. Y'all, I'm taking this laptop, okay? This laptop is about to go outside, and this is what I'm about to do to it, okay? Straight up.
Back up in your ass with the resurrection. Is the group harder than an erection that shows no affection? They want to ban us on Capitol Hill, cause it's die, motherfuckers die, motherfuckers. All along it was the ghetto, nothing but the ghetto. Taking short steps, 1 foot at a time and kept my head low and never let go. Cause if I let go, then I'd be spineless. I'm going insane. My mind just goes out of control and touch on subjects motherfuckers read about. I touch on the shit that they be leaving out. I seen this motherfuckers not smoking. I seen this, I bet you motherfuckers will too. Because it's time, motherfuckers die, motherfuckers still fall.
This shit is fucking hilarious, okay? Watch. Bitch. It's gonna be okay. I know it's gonna be okay. I know it. Oh my God. Oh, you know how many problems that printer caused them, though. Look at them. They feel good after they beat the shit out of that printer. Couldn't get nothing printed out that thing. Hit it one good time on the side. That's kind of how I feel about this fucking laptop right now, okay? Oh my God. Anyway, I know I started this off, I'm 14 minutes in. I'm done with it, okay? I'm like this. It's what? 11 o'clock in the morning Central Standard Time. Like the lady said, I might get it shipped today. Listen, I don't know, but I'm just going to be grateful for the fact that I'm living today. I'm alive, and it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to be grateful for that. I'll deal with the stressors of all that. I got other stressors I got to deal with today. And I'm not doing this anymore today. It's already been enough worry as I monitored my shipment. It was supposed to actually had been here Saturday, but then that changed to Monday today, right? So I've already been kind of stressed out about it. And I'm not going to let myself stress out about it now, but anymore. But that's how I feel. That's how the fuck I feel. So let's get into something really serious to those of you that are here for the crimes and investigations case that I'm about to run. Actually, pretty major update today. Shout out to those of you again on the Crimes and Investigations in the CrimeAndInvestigations.com channel. We've been spreading our wings, and this is now part of a podcast. So you will find Leak You. I'm waiting on some approvals and stuff like that, but I'm pretty sure pretty soon you'll be finding this podcast on Spotify, and I know for sure on Station Head. But and maybe Apple Podcasts. We'll see. You know, Apple's kind of notorious about getting approved and all that sort of a thing. Who knows? But the focus is crime and investigation cases and crime, basically a lot of cold cases. And in this case, this is one. Many of you may have heard me talk even about this I-65 killer before, right? Um, I know in the times that I've discussed it, FBI really believed that it was possible that the I-65 killer was a truck driver, but they knew there was like this certain route. Obviously, they called him the I-65 killer for a reason. He was also referred to as the Days Inn killer. Okay. Now it's been, hold on just one second. Let me, I want to bring up just something really quick for y'all. His photo. His photo. Close this side. This is him. And his DNA matched. So after more than 30 years, investigators have finally identified the man they dubbed the I-65 killer or the Days Inn killer. Now, Indiana State Police said that Harry Edward Greenwell was identified through a method known as, peep game, y'all, investigative genealogy. You guys went and did those 23andMe tests. You giving your DNA, just to see who you are, right? Everybody wants to know who they are. But the problem is you're submitting your DNA to these places, and they are using and turning around and using the DNA evidence that's being submitted to identify family members for murder crimes. And there's nobody stopping them from doing it. And that's exactly what happened in this case. I personally think it's a violation of people's privacy. You won't see me submitting anything to no 23andMe, okay, or ancestry.com or none of that. But that's what's going down. So you will see more and more and more of these type of cases. And listen, I'm not sad that they caught this guy. I'm glad they caught this guy. But guys, he's been dead for quite a while now. He died of cancer. He didn't even pay. He didn't even pay his debts to society for what he did to these women. But just check this. So he was identified through a method known as investigative genealogy. See, they're even giving it a name now, as the man who raped and murdered 3 women, brutally attacked a 4th in a series of attacks at hotels in Indiana and Kentucky along the I-65 corridor. He has also been connected to the late 1980s killings of Vicki Heath, Margaret Peggy Gill, and Jeanne Gilbert, and a 1990 sexual assault and stabbing of a woman in Columbus, Indiana, who investigators say is the only known victim to have survived any vicious and brutal attack by this man. She is the only known victim that has survived a brutal attack by this man. Now, Greenwell was known to frequently travel through the Midwest, right? He died in 2013 at the age of 68 in New Albin, Iowa. He had an extensive criminal history that spanned decades, all the way from the 60s, okay, to 1998, including several jail escapes. I mean, honestly, it looks like he wasn't even slowing down. Dude died in 2013, but he spent, I mean, we're talking extensive criminal history his whole life, even all the way to 1998. Like, dude, you only had what? 10 years left in your life and you're still on that fuck shit, right? But whatever floats your boat. People like this got a problem. And it goes into, are people that are sexual predators like this that rape, murder, and kill, is it a sickness? Is it a demon? Is it just them and the sin within? Who knows? It would be a good debate for me and Queen's Throne to have. I know that. But I'm telling you, investigative genealogy, which is what they're calling it now, right, combines the use of DNA analysis with traditional genealogy research and historical records to generate investigative leads for unsolved violent crimes. The match was 99.999% positive that it was him. It was his DNA. It was him. And this was clarified by ISP Sergeant Glenn Fiffield. Now, other evidence from ballistics to clothing, DNA, including hair and fibers, were all gathered from the crime scenes over the years and preserved. That's kind of surprising, huh? Now, according to investigators, this helped them link these cases together and played a part in leading investigators to this point. Following the murders, the Indiana State Police Lab matched ballistic evidence from the murders of Gill and Gilbert, which both happened on the same day in northern Indiana in March of 1989. Killed 2 women in one day. ISP's lab also connected the murders of Heath in Kentucky to Gilbert and the sexual assault of the woman in Columbus through DNA analysis. It was in 2019 that ISP asked for help from the FBI's gang response investigative team called GRIT to begin the process of investigative genealogy. People, all of the organizations that are involved in investigative genealogy, because that's what they're calling it now. You'll be seeing bills get passed through Congress. It's all about investigative genealogy. We just want to violate your privacy. Now, according to police, the process goes like this. A crime scene DNA profile is uploaded to one or more genetic genealogy databases to try and identify a criminal offender's genetic relatives. Peep game, right? So basically, let's update some of this crime scene DNA that we know is crime scene DNA. Let's go ahead and upload it to 23andMe and see if it matches anybody on that already submitted their profile. Because they want to know, everybody wants to know who they are, who their ancestors are, right? I'm 30% this, I'm 20% that, I'm 10% that. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're utilizing these private companies to obtain matches to DNA, to criminally prosecute or to find serial killers or cold cases. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Is that fair? Or is it a violation of privacy? Because if it ain't murder, it'll be burglary next, right? Or it'll be, somebody stole somebody's bike and they got the DNA off that, and then they're arresting you, they're arresting the culprit for stealing the bike because, they were able to match the DNA. It will go beyond murder. It will become about any and everything. Y'all know how politics is and red tape and all that type of stuff is. You know how that goes. I just think that it puts us on the precipice of some very dangerous things. Be very careful what you ask for. Be very, very careful. And although, again, I'm not saying this isn't a great thing, this is a wonderful thing. I'm glad he was caught. Okay? I am. But he never paid for any murder he did unless God made him pay some kind of way that we don't know about. Because this man died of cancer. He didn't go to prison for any of those murders. He went to prison for all kinds of other shit, though. So the genetic genealogy database tries to identify a criminal offender's genetic relatives, right? And locates the offender within their family tree. It was through this that investigators said a match was made to Greenwell with a close family member and subsequently determined that it was more than 99.999% probable that he was the man responsible for the killings. Investigators also credited the courage of the surviving victim in the Columbus attack for her help in solving the case. While DNA was recovered in her case, police said she helped provide information, including a description of her attacker and assistance to law enforcement over the years. They say that was critical in being able to solve this case, and it was truly a turning point in the investigation. Quote, "You never gave up, and I hope that today's announcement shows that this team of law enforcement agencies never gave up either." Now, Kimberly Gilbert Wright, the daughter of Jeanne Gilbert, also expressed her gratitude to the unnamed survivor for the courage and role that she played in helping all of their families find answers. Quote, "I too celebrate the life of the unnamed victim, and I thank God that she's here to have helped with this case and efforts, and I wish her the best." Now, ISP, the FBI, and the Elizabethtown, Kentucky, and Columbus, Indiana police departments made this announcement in front of a room filled with loved ones of the victims. And it was said on behalf of the families in the room, Gilbert Wright thanked investigators for their diligence in working to solve this case for more than 3 decades. And while Gilbert Wright said closure and justice may seem apparent, they are only now beginning and will take shape differently for each family impacted by the actions of this serial killer, Greenwell. And I'm going to tell you something else that I'm going to be honest with you and tell you something else I have issue with this sort of thing too. This man did not stand trial for the murder for any of these murders, right? But yet the FBI and the police and everyone, they've closed the case, right? He is the killer. But I thought in America, you had to go on trial and be found guilty, right? Before you could be declared a murderer. Because couldn't that affect certain things, right? It could affect certain things. Like you could suspect him of being that. But all I'm saying is it's almost like after King Von died, all of a sudden Chicago police are naming him as the murderer of this person and that person and this person and that person, right? It's like, I understand. I get it, right? But what I think we need to be careful of here is pinning dead bodies on people just because they're dead and they can't defend themselves. I just think that's really important. Because there's no way that they can defend themselves, obviously, if they're dead. And what if they're not the killer, right? But I just think, I'm not making a big deal about that. I'm just saying I think that it is something that we should be very considerate of and be very mindful of. Because I see it all the time. These rappers getting shot and killed, standing up and on stages with fireworks going off and they tennis shoes and they glasses and everything. And then all of a sudden, 5 days later, police say, yeah, that he killed such and such, and he killed Pookie, and he killed, this one, and he killed that one. And before you know it, then you got police closing cases, and they haven't even attributed it to the right killer. So killers are actually walking away and getting away with the stuff. I just think we need to be very careful with that, okay? And I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. This guy was sick. It's sick. Now, officials have stressed no matter how old an investigation is, police will continue to look for leads and evidence, and said that this case was an example of that. Sometimes the smallest piece of evidence is often what breaks a case wide open. And I would agree with that. Sometimes I see the smallest piece of evidence break a whole lot of things open. It's always the small things. It's always the small things, right? Sometimes the answers do not come as quickly as we would like, but in the end, I'm thankful that we are finally able to find answers to questions that have plagued victims and these families for so long. Detectives are looking into other cases in the Midwest that Greenwell may have possibly been linked to as well. Quote, as most of you know, Interstate I-65 runs from Gary, Indiana, all the way down to Mobile, Alabama. Investigators have long believed there is a distinct possibility there have been murders, rapes, robberies, or assaults that have not yet been connected to this investigation. It's kind of scary. Show y'all something. First off, the map, the timeline, right? Kind of see the movements and where those murders were happening. I mean, you can also kind of see like when a person escalates, when you see like two murders in the same year and month, right? Very close to each other, those sorts of things. But let's talk about this timeline a little bit here, okay? I mean, because they did do a pretty good job with this, right? Give me a second here. All right. So let's see. Hold up. Okay. So January 17th, 1963, Harry Edward Greenwell was arrested in Louisville, Kentucky for an armed robbery. Okay. He was convicted and sentenced. He got 2 years reformatory and 5 years probation for that robbery on April the 12th of 1963. I mean, they didn't waste no time, huh? Then he's arrested again February 23rd of 1965. This time, he was arrested for sodomy. He was then paroled in October of 1969, paroled from the Kentucky State Penitentiary for his sodomy conviction. On April 28th, 1978, Harry Edward Greenwell's wife dies in a house fire in Vernon County, Wisconsin. Anybody ever wonder about that? He remarries August 21st, 1980. It don't take some men, it don't take them long, I'm telling you. They're like, quick. Shit, I got to move on, bitch. Anyway, he remarries in Henry County, Kentucky. All right. And on June 17th, 1982, he's arrested, escapes custody. Apparently, he was known for escaping custody, but he was arrested in Vernon County for a burglary. He even escaped custody twice. but he was recaptured. He was then sentenced to state penitentiary in Iowa, and that this was in 1982. He's released December 5th, 1983. Then, on February 21st, 1987, the murder of Vicki Lucille Heath at the Super 8 Motel in Elizabethtown, Kentucky takes place. Then, March 3rd, 1989, Indiana murders, the murders of Margaret Gill at the Days Inn in Maryville, Indiana, and the murder of Jeanne Gilbert at the Days Inn in Remington, Indiana. Same night. Then, March 9th, 1989. Isn't this interesting? He's arrested. He was arrested in La Crosse, Wisconsin for a traffic violation. Isn't that interesting? Just days after the murder. Then, March 23rd, 1989, he's arrested again, but this time for a domestic incident. He violated a restraining order, and he was arrested for violating that restraining order. April 18th, 1989, he is sentenced to 15 months probation for criminal trespass. January 2nd, 1990, he rapes a Days Inn clerk in Columbus, Indiana. Then, October 11th, 1998, possession of arrest. He was arrested for felony possession of something. It doesn't say what, but, I don't know. Then, November 13th, 1998, he's arrested again, this time for a restraining order that he violated. It's obvious that he did not have boundaries, right? Then, November 16th, 1998, the restraining order violation case is dismissed. January 2013, Harry Edward Greenwell dies of cancer. This is Peggy Gill, Jeanne Gilbert, and Vicki Heath, all victims of his. Now, on March 2nd, 1989, Peggy Gill was working as a night auditor at a Days Inn in Maryville, Indiana, okay? 70 rooms had been booked at the time of Gill's 11 to 7 shift. She checked in her last guest around 1:30 in the morning on March 3rd when investigators say someone forced her from the desk. The Days Inn manager reported Gill missing after she did not call in to check with her that morning. Police arrived at the motel. They found the desk cash drawer had been pried open with $179 missing from the till. Officers then searched the motel, and they found her body shortly after 6:30 at the end of a vacant hall. Investigators did confirm that Gill died from 2 gunshot wounds to the head, the same manner of death as Heath. She was also sexually assaulted, and the business was robbed, consistent with the details of Heath's case from 2 years prior. Because the biological substance consistent with saliva or semen was non-viable for testing, DNA was not recovered from the scene of Gill's murder. Investigators did, however, say it was ballistics that connected her case to a murder just hours later. Police say sometime after Gill was killed, Greenwell drove 52 miles south on I-65 to the Remington Days Inn. Jeanne Gilbert, Rensselaer was behind the front desk after she agreed to switch shifts with a coworker in order to see her daughter cheer in a high school sectional game. Her last known interaction was around 4:30 a.m. when she made a courtesy wake-up call to a guest. Sometime after that, she was forced from the motel and into a car for the last ride of her life. Gilbert's body was found less than 2 hours later on County Road 150 West, just northwest of Brookston in White County, a little more than a 1-hour drive from where Peggy Gill was killed in Maryville, if you were to take the I-65. Investigators have said that Gilbert was shot in the chest and the head and had been sexually assaulted. The business was also robbed. This was a composite sketch that was going around. But honestly, would you have put him with, would you have really attributed him to being that person? I wouldn't have. Didn't even look the same. Didn't even look the same. Nothing like it. Let me take a look at the comments here. Yeah. And I'm noticing a lot of cases being solved in that way. I ain't even gonna lie. I'm seeing a ton of cases getting solved. Hey, everybody, I hope you're well. I'm seeing a lot of cases getting solved by this, what they call genealogy investigation type stuff. I just want to see how much, Nordic is in me. I just want to see if I got any Chinese in me. Do I got any Korean? What about, Hindu? Do I got any Puerto Rican in me? What about, do I got some cowboy in me too? Yo, don't give these people your DNA. It's bad enough that if you go to prison or go to jail, even on a misdemeanor, they're forcing these men to give their DNA. And what sucks about that is, number one, if they've ever committed a crime, they're going to get caught. Number two, it's that whole familia thing. Oh, well, we got a 70% match on this guy's DNA. So whoever it is that killed this person has to be related to this person. So we need to put the pressure on this person. Find out who his family is. All I'm saying is I just feel like it is a violation of people's privacy. And that I don't think that's what people agreed to when 23andMe came about, right? I don't think that's what people agreed to. I think they just wanted to know, just break it down. Like, what's my heritage, right? Just break it down. How much European ancestry do I got in me? How much of this do I got in me? How much of that? Not for you to take my DNA and compare it and to some crime scene DNA that you've uploaded to the system. And then you determine that I'm related to somebody who had a close match. And then you're calling me up, asking me who my family members are. Again, I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm talking about the violation of your privacy. Just because something may be a good idea don't mean it's a good idea to do, right? I mean, I thought people were supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. But we know that's just not how it works in America, is it? We imprison more people here in America than any other country in the world. How many people do you know that's been to prison? Damn, a lot, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then when you add the death row shit on top of it, knowing good and damn well that we've executed innocent men, those men sat in those cells and they still sit in those cells 23 hours a day in Hunts. I just went through Huntsville the other day. Every time I go through Huntsville, I see that ugly ass, big ass statue. Okay. They could blow that motherfucker down that Sam Houston fuck that statue. Why are y'all stopping in like looking up at that monstrosity anyway? Like on some real shit. Fuck that statue. What the fuck? Oh, it's people that deserve to be on death row now. Don't get me wrong. But Texas has most definitely executed innocent people. And there's one case where I really do feel in my heart that I know Texas executed an innocent man. And I'll save that case for another time, but I'll never forget, his last words. They're murdering me tonight. They're murdering me tonight. They're murdering me tonight. I'm innocent. They're murdering me tonight. You're letting them murder me tonight. And see, that's when Texas used to put the last words of inmates on their websites, even their last meals, right? They used to actually put this information on their website. And all I'll say is that man's name's Gary. And there is possible proof that he really was innocent. But of course, you know how slow the wheels of justice work. They don't go fast at all. And I doubt that man will ever get any relief for his family. They're just glad to them, boom, they close the case. Straight up. And then, I guess really the reason I brought that up is because right now in the state of Texas, and it ain't even just Texas, it's Louisiana, Missouri, Arkansas, it's a couple of y'all, but mainly Texas, because, Texas likes to be number one in murders and shit. They'll kill 2 people in a single day down here in this bitch. Like it ain't nothing. But here's the problem. Ran out of the chemicals they needed to do the lethal injection, right? But what really happened was that companies didn't want to give them the chemicals that they used to make those lethal injections because they didn't like the fact they were using them to legally euthanize human beings. So they said, no, we're not going to sell you these products anymore. Period. And what does Texas do? What does Missouri do? What does Louisiana do? What does Arkansas do? Some of y'all other states. They go out and they find another proprietor. They find another solution. And then they tell us that we don't have the right to know what that solution is. So you mean to tell me that you're going to lethally inject somebody for the murder of whatever that murder is, but you're not going to tell them what you're putting in their veins to lethally kill them? And do I need to remind people about the numerous, and I'm talking hundreds of cases ever since this new formula was put in place of people damn near screaming in pain, talking about how much it hurts, how inhumane doctors have said that the process appears to be at this point? Foaming at the mouth, blood vessels bursting, men supposed to be dead, but ain't. Like, do I really, really need to? I think that we need to do a story on that. Let's talk about the Texas lethal injection process and what they're hiding down there in Huntsville. Because we know y'all are hiding that formula for one. You don't want Huntsville, state of Texas, TDC, they don't want y'all to know what's in them lethal injection chemicals. They don't want you to know. For all we know, it could be people, companies that are affiliated to them. You all know how corrupt politics are. For all we know, the warden, it could be his family making these chemicals. And they're all just bankrolling all together and shit. And the only reason why they're doing that is because Europe said no. We're not giving you these chemicals anymore. We don't agree with you using them to murder people with. Because they don't believe in the death penalty. There's actually a lot of places that don't believe in the death penalty. It's not really, I'm not going to say my stance on the death penalty, but I'm not. But I will say that I used to feel a lot different about it than I do now. I'll say that. But what you mean you're not going to tell us what chemicals you're putting in a man's or a woman's body? And then we see this new formula getting pushed out. And it ain't just, one person in one state. We're talking about over 50 plus cases of people dying very inhumanely, so much so that the people that were there to watch the execution had to get up and walk out. It was bad. And it happened a lot of times. So much so that newspaper articles were written, news people were talking like, what is in this formula? Well, we're not obliged to tell you. Yes, you are. If state tax dollars are paying for that bullshit, then you're absolutely obligated to tell us what's in it. What is in it? What is making the formula that you're using to inject into people? Did you even test it on a mice before you tested it on a human being? Did you even test it on an animal first? That's the type of stuff I'm talking about. That's wrong as fuck to me. And until that shit gets settled, I don't think anybody should be getting anything lethally injected. I'm sorry, if somebody killed your family and everything, but things got to be right all the way around. It can't just be right for one thing and wrong for the other. I'm so sorry to say it, but it's true. Anyway, I appreciate everybody that came through. I feel like a lot of good things came up out of this. I've got another live scheduled for later today where we're going to be talking about another cold case that has now been solved after 20 years, which is pretty amazing. Give me just 1 second here. Bring this up. Come on. Yeah. Okay. So the murder of Makia Wadley back in 1999 has finally been officially solved. And so we're going to be talking about that later on tonight, 6:00. I'll see you guys then. So try to have a good rest of the day, guys, and try to keep yourselves out of trouble. Is all I can say. Until next time, everybody.